more meta.
Yeah.
And they're going to be on the defense first here, and they're going to run something standard. The Sharp's Widow has been phenomenal tonight. And if they could deal with Australia's dive, in particular Huss's Sombra, which has been such a challenge for them to defend, but I think this could be a good setup for them. They had a great defensive A on King's Row first round before we went into the extra rounds. So I don't dislike this for Sweden, but it does, as you say, it's a bit surprising, just based on our expectations going into this tournament and what they did yesterday.
And it's kind of the question that we always have to ask, or you and I ask a lot when it comes down to Contenders Korea. Do you go for just always running the thing that you are good at and proven with, or do you try to branch out and surprise teams with something a little bit new?
Yeah.
So far, they're trying some things that are new. And, it's not looked bad. There's definitely some questionable moments and some swaps that came in a bit too late.
Yeah.
But the workings are there. The mechanics are there. It's just the timing that we're seeing so far that is a little bit off.
Certainly, well, Australia's going to try to use Trill's Wrecking Ball to break this point. Very strong against Orisa setups here with the pile driver knockup. The execution's going to have to be crisp. Sweden's ready for this. They've seen it. So the disengage for Sharp and Tvik should be pretty easy. Sleep Dart is what is going to be the most important part of this defense, too.
Yeah, they push forward. Little bit of help. That Poison Trap will be able to finish them off already. There's a little time by here for Team Sweden.
Chips is sitting really far back on the point, and he's set up to, when the launch comes through from the grapple, little swing coming through from Wrecking Ball, he's going to look to get that sleep while Trill is midair. Here that comes that grapple.
Yep. Grapple into the back as well for Sharp. For an angle, trying to hunt down Huss. It's a little bit of damage. You can see Sweden going to be hiding back here. Knocked off that mid-ground. Be operating back over towards the point itself. Still going up into the top, uses the pile driver. Getting hit up a little bit here. Tvik just going to be spamming out those nades. Trying to get a break on that Hammond, but Or has not been able to take him down. Medicine pushing up to the top, just kind of scouting out here for the rest of the squad. Rocket's getting a lot of damage in, building up rapidly for that self-destruct Trill. So he clips the wall. He almost gets taken down because of that, but manages to survive.
Punk mitigates almost all of that damage as well, not just from Manitin, but from the Junkrat of Tvik as well. Incredible play by Punk throughout this tournament. Now they've repositioned into an advantageous position.
Haas finding Sharp as he goes on the drop, trying to get onto the low ground. Takes him out. Now he's looking for Tvik and looting. Sitting in that side room. Haas, however, will get leapt on. Tvik spamming those nades yet again, and doesn't take him out. Moves out onto the Mercy, but Sweden's still going to be maintaining control here as Australia tries to get some percentage building up. And then drops the bomb, comes back down safely, can resuit.
If they had not used Valkyrie, I think Australia would be in an incredible position right now. CKM's going to go ahead and toss out the blade.
Oh yeah, he pulls this one at half HP, but still manages to find Sharp. The minefield now coming down, breaking down that Riptire, completely shutting it out. CKM does eventually fall, but it's a team wipe here. Sweden completely crumble by a little bit of time, but it's still going to be nearly 6 minutes on the clock for Australia.
Australia, I think, with a bit of a sloppy engage there, and they use the minefield to create chaos, and CKM just seems, CKM basically just seems to be the god of dealing with incredibly difficult and chaotic situations. The more complex and more complicated the team fight is, it seems like he's always coming up big. He's going to swap over to the Brigida now. But yeah, very well played at the end of the day here for Australia. Tvik will swap over to the Doomfist here. I don't know if this will be long-term. It's very strong against the Wrecking Ball, but not as much against what Australia's running now.
Well, it's already gone, so drills back over onto that bread and butter Winston that's been so good for him. Tvik has to get the heck out of dodge, however. Rocket jumping into the back line, trying to stay alive. Plus, just taking a nap. Wake me up when we're ready to go for the team fight here, guys.
Australia will be shoved back here, just trading up ultimates, taking an eco push, as it's called, with this. Tvik sticks with the Doomfist. He wants to run this for long-term sustainability in the fights on B. You get the shielding. Has the Nano.
Yeah, Nano goes in for the seismic slam, looking for the punch target. Gets a Kraken. It's actually aiming for CKM, but I think the Zenyatta just happened to kind of glide right in front of his fist here. And Punk will get taken out of that mech in the end, so good time by as they go for the stagger onto the Baby Diva, and Manitin will be able to go ahead and pick that up.
And with Nano Boost giving Tvik more survivability to go into that fight, he is then able to build shields, and that's why this is so ult efficient, because they use one ultimate to basically shove Australia back. And then now Tvik has more survivability because he's built a Meteor Strike, which he can use to escape and trade an escape into a kill. So Sweden just being very efficient with this.
EMP coming down. Sweden looking to take the fight to Australia yet again. They will be able to do so. 2 swift kills picked up.
And once
that much more time bought.
Once again, one ultimate, one push delayed. You just continue to do this.
But at the same time, a tick was gained for Australia.
True. But if you continue to do this, you know, and obviously hopefully avoid getting those ticks through, then you're always going to have an ult advantage on B. You're going to have the faster respawn. It's very difficult for Australia to turn things until they get that EMP. Us is so close to building that up right now. As you can see the setup here, splitting the tanks, reinforce up at the front.
Jump up from the top here, reinforce. Primal Rage is ready to go. He's just zapping him back, trying to dissuade. And also get some extra healing in for his supports to build up their ultimates. We're on the right side. We're going to hear that Primal going to get popped by Reinforced. He's going to be dead. Sleep connecting onto him. Primal Rage just going to be burning away. Massive opening now for Australia. Already going to be starting off with that 33%. Fills into the back. He's got both supports operating over here. Back towards the spawn room, keeping them busy. EMP now going to get dropped in by Huss. Bionade in. Ludi's going to fall. Reinforced dead. The deck goes up with a Meteor Strike. He's looking for an angle. He's looking for a target. Will be able to get rid of that Ana, but instantly gets stunned up and taken down.
I think he needs more than that. I don't know if that's enough.
Now 98% just about here, built up for Australia. Still very healthy in onto the point as Riley comes down from CKM. Jump to the back. Upper Struck going to be tossed out. Looking for the pick, and Puck is going to find 3, delivering the cap.
Very well played here, hitting that in the midst of Australia's chaos. They also all committed into the fight because because Tavik was able to toss out that EMP. And honestly, I feel like the way they were trying to operate that fight with one ult, one defense was going really well until Reinforced got slept when he was using the Primal Rage, because that meant that they needed to use more ultimates. The fight started to flip away from them, as well as
to try to drag it back in.
Yeah, and right before that, we had the attempt of Tavik to get the Mega Pack with the Doomfist. He was so low, and he had the Meteor Strike, and he was reliant on that Mega Pack. Died before he got it. Used the Doomfist in that more desperate fight where the point was already basically captured. But it was those 2 moments, I think, that gave Australia the opening there. And the big self-destruct for Punk in all that chaos, where it was, excuse me, I said Tavik earlier, I meant to say Sharp, who tossed out the EMP. Where Sweden, you see, you've got the EMP up. You've got to get on that point there at 98%. You all rush in, but you're not set up to deal with that self-destruct that was pre-placed by Punk. So great time bank here for Australia, despite the first 2 pushes being a little bit slower there on A.
Yeah, I mean, they took their time. It was a bit more of a patient play. 245, we've obviously seen much higher time banks, but this is still a very healthy one should they get taken to OT rounds. So a good amount to work with here. Sweden, we'll see what they're going to be doing on the attack.
Yep. So Huss yesterday on this very point with the Widow played very aggressively. In fact, operated mostly on the lower ground and the ledge that's just below this one, and was then grappling up against how Sweden's been playing today with Tavik on this Genji. I don't know if it'll be as easy to make that work, so he is sticking up with the Orisa for now.
Punk just spotting here as Huss takes a look, trying to find somebody. Gets a shot in onto Tavik, picking him down to about half HP.
That really unique setup there for the Junkrat defense for CKM.
Yep, they're waiting for that wraparound.
Yep. Expecting this.
He makes his way out of there, but Huss to spot him.
His trap was well placed.
Was there.
Yeah, his trap was well placed, so he knew exactly where he was coming from.
But now they have to turn their attention to the front because the tanks are diving through. A little bit of damage in onto the Winston. He'll get bopped up into the air. Reinforced falling down below half HP. Huss going to be cutting over to the opposite side, looking for an angle. Dive coming in, gets that tag into the head. Reinforced falling low. Now just going to be spraying away the machine gun into Manatan. Pops his head back over the ledge and finds Ludwig taking him down. No more Lucio in the mix here for Sweden. They're still pushing through. They nearly have that second tick. Now going to be gaining it as Reinforced falls.
Looking really good for the defense of Australia now as Sweden's full comp is shut down. Tavik just trying to toss in some left clicks on his way out to build up that blade. Manatan escapes being staggered. That would have been a disaster.
Look at this guy. He's so aggressive. Knows that he has the HP advantage. Knows that Tavik is desperately trying to cut his way out. Goes forward, but cannot get the kill. Would have been a nice little extra stagger. Well, instead, Tavik going to get a little bit of ult charge over to Chips, and now has that blade ready to go, but no mana boost to couple with it.
Yeah, Tavik got the blade through that extra aggressive play, which sometimes can be a liability, but in this case, because he lives, is great. This is the important push for Sweden. This is where they need to get in there.
Tire's online, though.
Yes. The Tire could shut this down completely.
Playing around the side, pushes in, and he's going to get 2. Lucio, Genji, falling right off the bat. And that is just going to be the halted push coming through. So still, Sweden in an all-right position. They have those 2 ticks. So we'll be starting.
The most important thing for Sweden now is, because they held onto that blade, is to coordinate a push with Reinforce and Devik specifically. Mountain will be involved as well. Will they kill Brigida and then pull the blade, or blade to help blow Brigida up before the stun can come through? That's how Devik's going to have his best blade possible. Nice mine here, though.
Reinforce. Almost going down now. It's going to be the Primal into the back, trying to deal with Huss. Double back up over to the top, and it's a little bit of damage. It's going to be that self-destruct toss straight down in onto the point. Devik gets caught up in the blast. He's going to be gone. The blade still held, so doesn't lose the ultimate at least. But that's
a huge stagger.
That's me trying to spare their blushes. That's a big stagger, as you say. The clock is draining down.
And he just thought he had the second jump was going to get him over that wall there. You could just see it wasn't even in his thoughts there, and he was just suddenly, oh my god, I missed my jump. I am dead. You know, that's the kind of thing that almost never happens at this level of play. But Sweden's obviously mentality-wise not in the greatest place. Visor here going to give Devik his vision or his positioning away.
CKM getting taken down as the Nano Blade comes out. Devik taking a bit of damage, running up towards the top. Gildenai comes in, but Custer's still going to be dead. Huss on the sidelines, manages to get rid of the Genji. They're getting their losses as best as possible, but Liddy goes forward, gets rid of Trill. The front line getting shattered here as Punk gets knocked out of his mech. Liddy pushing in, right click comes through. They try to go ahead and just finish off Huss, and they will be able to do so with the help of the Diva. Stun coming in, Kraken just trying to stay alive, trying to buy some extra time away from Team Sweden, but they will be getting the cap. 4:42 on the clock. Let's see how the defense is going to be here on point B for Australia and what they're going to change up.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see Devik try to run this Reaper follow-up. It's always been a common strategy to run Reaper on B because you get so much ult charge from the tanks that buy time, and you break them down and build a massive time make if the first push works. Also, the EMP combo with Death Blossom is incredibly powerful, so that's one thing they could look for.
Tesla getting jumped on, needs that armor pack. Kraken helping to keep him topped up. Also building up towards that rally. CKM going to take it down off screen. And Sharp has that EMP online. Still moving forward, finds chips now. Liddy's going to be dead. No supports available, no Reaper as well. Only builds up a third just about for that Death Blossom.
Now he can get away with getting 30% on this one, but if he doesn't swap and he ends up with 60% after the second one, then suddenly you really need to just get off the Reaper, because if the first Death Blossom doesn't work or only gets you 1 tick, then you've lost your time bank advantage that they had.
Yeah.
So this needs to be a push that does a little bit better. EMP might be worth using just to build Death Blossom percentage, because EMP builds much faster. It's much easier to farm that.
Sharp waiting for an opportunity here, pushing forward, throws down the EMP, catches a couple people here on the side of Australia. Trill gonna get taken down right off the start. Devik looking for a target, just about at that 60% mark. It's Punk way off on the sidelines, not in onto the point. The Nanobu's gonna be coming down, tosses out, that self-destruct. Devik goes into the Wraith form, this time, makes his way over to the side, still spraying away, trying to build up for that Death Blossom desperately. Punk trades 1 back. Sweden only down the Lucio at the moment, but Chips falls low.
This is the
has the Death Blossom ready to go. Punk's going to be taken down. The Rival Rage going to be slept under the bridge here as the second tick gets ready to come in. Drill's going to be rejoining onto the point. Sweden moving up. EMP coming down. Huss tosses that one out to Vic. Trying to stay alive. 6 HP, but CKM comes through with the Dragon Blade. Picks up 2 as Reinforced falls, and Manton is knocked out of the mech.
They lose their time bank here advantage. Australia will have the better time. But the way they executed that is actually just a showcasing of what Reaper is capable of. This is another stagger that's going to be very painful. But that shows you what Reaper is capable of when given a nano boost, when given all that extra support. But it was the hack, the EMP, that eventually ended his life because he could not escape the damage. He holds the Blossom now. You can't swap here, but Sharp is just a few percentage points away from that EMP, so there's no combo. Australia's going out for the chase.
Oh man, just pushing so far forward. The Death Blossom gets blown into Mick, goes down. CKM picks up the kill off the backup chips dying. Trill, again, just hopping on heads one after the other, carrying Australia to victory.
I love how they did this, because in a more open area like that, when you go out for the fight, Devik isn't going to be able to do as much damage with his Death Blossom. He was focused. Australia knew that Sweden was setting up for a big push that way, and they needed to farm, of course, EMP. So they brought the fight to Sweden to make sure that couldn't happen. Devik now is going to stick with the Reaper, so this is insanely risky for Sweden. They're trying to force this to work. Easier said than done when you only have 12%.
Get up the Mega Pack. Devik going to be nano boosted up, just spraying away wildly, trying to find one, but another one as Trill hops in. The right click from Kusa, taking down the Reaper. Reinforced going to die. Sharp looking to go down off the back end of this, as is Manhattan with the mech. Ludi escaping with his life, does have the sound barrier up, but we are down to 1 minute and 25, ladies and gentlemen. Sweden desperately need to get this finish.
And we've seen what Reaper could do with the Nano Boost, and obviously what Death Blossom is capable of throughout years of meta in Overwatch, but when you have no boost and no Blossom, but you have the EMP, you're still missing 2 parts of the bigger triangle here, right? And so EMP could lead to Reinforce getting an opening pick. They could get the point that way if they trade up longer, but it's going to be so tough.
Again, Australia pushing forward. The blade comes out, and CKM does get something. Now he's going to be woken up. Has a couple more seconds on this one, but the Vic manages to open things up by taking down Trill, and Huss will fall at the same time. Vic pushes forward. Another one going to be dead as the Kraken will fall. Looking for a target. CKM dashing through. Punk so very weak here in the mech. The Reaper just rips it to pieces. Self-destruct going to get thrown down. Goes into the raid form. Now going to wait for Custa. Shotgun to the face. He'll go down. But Sweden, can they get this completion with time in the bank, or can Australia drag this out long enough to force the OT? If not, just hold them off completely. The
Nano Boost.
Nano Boost coming in. Now has the Death Blossom. Picks up 2 kills. House going to be dead. Rejoining up. Gets stunned up. Drops down to the low ground. Now pushing back up. Death Blossom's going to be thrown in. Costa goes low. The move comes in, and he will be able to stay alive. It's down to 66 HP. Rate form coming in yet again, trying to escape. Both Divas going to get popped out of the mech, and the Primal Rage is here for Reinforces. He gets stunned up, and Trill finds 2 kills. Ludi and Edison both going to get eliminated as he swaps over onto the Ham, and Reinforce getting burnt down will fall. And Australia really trying to put them in the grave here. Confirm the victory in this series with the 3-1 as they look to close out over Sweden here on Temple of Anubis.
And that's it. Australia will take the series with a 3 victories in a row set. We will have that 4th map, but the series is theirs. And the question a lot of people asked is China, going to just dominate this entire tournament? The answer so far has been no. Thailand did bring them to a 5th map, but still people were looking at China as the team that gets out of this group stage no matter what. After that, everything was up in the air, but these were the 2 names that came up most, of course, globally, in the Overwatch fan community. The people have been watching Overwatch World Cup for the last 3 years. And Australia just comes up much bigger tonight. They take the match. We're going to have that 4th map, which will, of course, be very important for seeding. And this is, again, Sweden's only 2nd map of the group stage yet. But unfortunately for Sweden, man, they just have not been able to find this adaptability. I appreciate that they're putting Reinforce on a lot of Winston. He's been, clearly practicing that and moving away from his past and his old comforts. But some of the things they've done, like not swapping against the Pharah push on King's Row, continuing to run this Reaper without being willing to change after they lost so much time, these are the small decisions that are costing Sweden big. And it's the big picture I think they're missing out on. Whereas Australia's coordination looks as good as ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stubbornness is kind of the term, I guess, that comes to mind. Is just they have the ability to swap, but it just takes them so long to do so. They don't really, we're watching on a wider perspective here. We see everything that's going on. These guys have the pressure of playing, but sometimes you just have to realize, like, okay, you know what? I burned the Death Blossom. It didn't really work out. I need to do something else. I need to try to change it up, go to something a little bit different. But unfortunately, it has not worked out for them, so it will be another lost series for Team Sweden. But they have the ability to try to drag a map back in, get that 1-3 loss. If they can pick up a win here on Rialto, will be their final map pick of this series.
That's right, and it's got to be Reinforce on the Reinhardt here. Of all things, if they're picking this map, which is also a fantastic map for Pharah because of the proclivity of GOATs and Reinhardt-oriented compositions in 2018, in this meta. So it's a risky pick in some regards because of CKM's incredible Pharah. So let's see how Sweden manages this, because when we talk about mentality, you've got a roster that comes in as big representatives of Sweden, right? They represent their country. Historically a very strong country in esports. We've got Reinforce, who retired as a pro for a while. He's been an analyst in Overwatch League. He's returned as a pro gamer for this event. So a lot of pressure on this player. Cares about the game a lot, cares about his reputation. And you've lost 2 maps in frustrating fashion. The Pharah that destroyed you on King's Row, the failed Reaper on Anubis. Your mentality's got to be pretty shaken in a moment like this.
And we see this. Sorry.
I was just saying, the final thing is they are going to run Tavik on this older school Roadhog here now. So quad tank.
They're going to try to spawn camp them.
Yep.
We saw this debuted by Finland.
That's right.
Versus South Korea. So they're going to go ahead and try their hand at this again.
The Scandinavian special, maybe we should call it.
So we'll see if this is going to fare well for them or if it's going to be farewell for them.
Well, they lose the series either way, but picking up that point is going to be so important as we get into our final day tomorrow to determine standings and who is going to BlizzCon. So this match matters a ton.
Playing straight up here into the front, the Wrecking Ball coming up. Top flank.
Trill could just wait here.
Yep, he's just waiting. Huss gets the hack in onto the Vic. Bubble's going to be coming down. Pile driver in. Rockets out. CKM getting so much damage in as he builds up already a third of the way to that barrage.
We saw this very similar situation with Libero on the Fara. It's Finland versus South Korea.
That's one dead. Ludi already going to be falling. Manhattan nearly having that mech broken. Doesn't have much left as far as that defense matrix is concerned. And now he's going to be going for a bit of a swim as he gets taken off the side of the map.
But this has been seen before. And it's been now dealt with the same way South Korea dealt with it in Incheon when Finland ran it. And it ends up being just a really unfortunate start here for Sweden. Massive ult advantage for Australia, including that barrage, the EMP, that pairing that has been the bane of Sweden in this series. And what a rough start. They'll put Reinforce onto the Winston. Tavik onto Tracer now. Just hoping to get some backline picks on a map where Tracer can roam a little bit more. Need to track Huss because he can set up that barrage combo so easily.
Yep. Ran away. He's not even in invisibility. You know, he's just like, okay, this is fine. Gonna be sitting out here in the front. Reinforce jumps forward all on his lonesome. Will get taken down. Oh boy. EMP gonna be dropped in. Shibzion gonna be falling off the bat. CKM does get taken out. As this is an absolute bloodbath coming through. Tavik picking up 2 there right at the end. Ran away, goes low, has the recall, keeps himself alive. Trying to knock down these tanks. Punk will get taken out of the mech. But not before Trill can do the same to Manhattan. The cart will be halted here. Sweden can stabilize.
Yeah, the backbone of the comp of Australia starts to fall apart. Trill may want to consider making the swap over to the Winston here because against a Tracer in particular, you're going to have a lot of problems with surviving as the Wrecking Ball once your adaptive shield runs out. But he's been pocketed really well here by Costa. Wants to keep it going for now. It's one way you can control these choke points with the mines, and you can drop down, as you can see, he continuously does.
Barrage ready to go. Disrupt right into the front. The Sleep Dart now going to be connecting. The bomb comes up. CKM will be going down. Manhattan finding that one hit. They lose out on the reinforcement. Tavik is trying to go ahead and even the playing field. He knocks Punk out of that mech with a pulse bomb. Playing forward is Trill with the Hammond. So far, still very healthy. Dashing over to the side. Tavik takes a couple shots and will be going down. And that's going to be a completion onto A for Australia, bumping up that time bank now to 4 minutes.
And this is the hardest take right here against what Sweden was running. And both times CKM tried to set up for the barrage. He was slapped by chips. And even with an initial pick there the first time and the second time denying the barrage, Sweden wasn't able to take the fight. CKM is easily able to just switch over to the Brigitte right afterwards after using that ultimate. Fara is less useful against what Sweden is running. Sweden has an EMP, but not much follow-up yet because Tavik just switched over to the Genji. There's not really a big combo they can utilize, whereas Huss has a lot more he can do.
Oh, one EMP coming out, Chips. Get a lot of damage here from behind. Dropping down is Huss, looking for the finish, and he manages to get it. Now has the EMP online for the continuation of this push. Reinforced also going to be taken out. The hack comes down on the Manhattan. He'll get knocked out of the mech and eliminated as he goes off the side. And this is just going to be the cart still rolling forward here for Australia. 45 seconds down at the moment from when they got the cap on to B.
Huss is like the invisible man. You know, he's the guy that you don't see until he's killing you, until he's hacking you, or suddenly you realize where he is when your entire team has been EMP'd. They need to do a better job of tracking this player who's so crafty, who's so sneaky. Again, avoids Reinforce's notice here and sneaks behind him because he's running the Rhine. You know, just sometimes don't see that. He's just constantly able to set up incredible EMPs because they cannot track his positioning. They don't know where he is. And he's looking for everyone to group up here so they can hard engage with this. They have a self-destruct combo.
See, already a bit of damage going through onto Chips. Going to be tossing down that EMP. The sound barrier is there from Liddy. Helps keep everybody on Team Sweden nice and alive. Reinforced, however, as I say that, will get taken down. To burn right through it. Now it's going to be Manhattan focused out yet again. Does not want to use that self-destruct. Knows that he is going to need it and that he would not be making it back into the mech. Just holds on to it, but giving up so much space here to Australia, nearly rolling into point B now.
And now Sweden has, you know, at least the self-destruct to try to work with an EMP, but they would have loved to have these just 10 seconds earlier. They would have loved to have that to contest the point. These important ultimates, it takes them so long to build while they're losing these fights, or just coming in too late. Reinforced still only halfway to a shatter.
Oh, Sharp gonna get spotted out, throws down that EMP, catches, I believe, 2 here. Falls down to about half HP and has to jump back, and there's not really much follow-up onto Australia because they have the sound barrier to keep everybody nice and topped up. They're swinging away, just gets the rally online as he goes down. Punk runs him into the ground as they try to keep that cart rolling. Goodbye, good night.
Wasted the nano. He was nanoed. It's totally worthless here. Knocked off the side. And the explosion there from the Diva Bomb from Mount hits no one after EMP. So all ultimates wasted for Sweden. Not a single one remains but Rally, which will, of course, give them armor to approach and try to build those ultimates. But it just feels like stagger after stagger, loss after loss. Australia has the momentum in their favor right now. They are trading up ultimates. They're trading more efficiently, meaning Sweden is using more ultimates than Australia is using to deny them in these team fights. A rally is used here.
He's in the back. People grouped up here for him. EMP nearly online. Hack's going to be down. No shield here for Reinforce, but he's going to jump back with the translocator to keep himself alive.
He's got that armor, the extra armor. Chips is going to be so difficult to kill on the Zen now.
Even with the EMP, going to need more than just the Sombra to finish him off. Location over to the side. Jill will get taken down. EMP going to be dropped down. They're looking for the Vig. Bomb not going to be finding anything, but Reinforce still going to die. Scutta picks up that killing blow. Cart halted here at the final corner. 2 minutes remaining on the clock. And falling low. Looks like he will be able to stay alive as Sharp just tries to burn down Custa.
This is the first time Sweden has been able to breathe on this defense from the Scandinavian shenanigans we saw at the first point. The hold attempt there to failed pushes or failed defenses on B because they had ult deficits from those swaps they needed after they were trying to do the quad tank there at A. And for the first time, they can sit back with a slight ult advantage, the EMP advantage here, and positional advantage. So it's going to get a little bit tougher now for Australia for the first time, and Huss is going to, again, just try to find his way to the back line.
Oh, Sharp, yes, this is as good of a moment as any. They go ahead and drop down that EMP, and Trill is going to die right off the start. Now looking for as many staggers as we can possibly get. CKM goes into the water. They halt him, they buy some time off the bank. About a minute remaining here as Australia gets everybody back alive.
And you can see what the effect of EMP in terms of ult efficiency, because this one EMP is all they need to shut down the push, and Australia's just still struggling to build ultimates right now.
Us just trying to back cap again.
Yeah, gonna get denied here. Building some charge though off of Maniton. This is a great matchup for
I mean, he is just, he's farming up here. Chip's now gonna be rejoining as he just goes ahead and jumps out.
So Shatter is going to be the next big ultimate here for Sweden to deny the next push.
Rally's online as well. Gonna go ahead and pop that one up as they go for the fight. Shatter's still sitting here for Reinforce. Back in around the side, waiting for an opportunity. Cam over in the side. Pin comes down. Reinforce locks him in, takes him down. Barrier out from Sweden as well. They try to maintain control. Primal Rage is up for Trill, but he is going to get locked up, stunned up. And now the Shatter comes through. Custa going to get eliminated. Pin this time not going to be connecting onto the Diva, but they can go ahead and pop Punk out all the same. With 14 seconds remaining, it seems like Sweden should just be able to hold on to this defense.
It reinforces Shatter here, almost guarantees no one can tag the point. The only one is CKM. They're trying to stop him from getting in there. He's got 4 seconds to touch that payload. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Huss is here, Huss is here.
Okay, Huss sneaks in.
Yeah, we'll be able to go ahead and tag that one up, and he's got to jump out. Now Trill going to be coming back through with the ham and the pin coming through, taking him for a bit of a ride. Also gets the smattering of damage there on a Huss, but he jumps away from that fire strike. EMP going to be thrown down by Sharp, as the rest of Australia desperately tries to tag in onto the point. They find one opening frag as Punk takes down Liddy. Now Sharp going to be eliminated.
CKM lived!
Gets that. Now he's nearly got a play online. They're going to have to try to shut this one down. Reinforce goes for a pin. He'll get taken down. Punk manages to finish him off. Sleep connecting in onto the Vic. He is going to die to the Rockets here from the Diva. Sweden,
Chips has to counter this blade.
One. They have the Transcendence, and he needs to keep everybody alive.
It's all about Chips right now. He can get Reinforce a Shatter in the longer fight, but it has to be perfectly timed. Here's the blade.
And with the swamp over, Ludi nearly goes down. That's going to be the Nano Blade coming in. Maniton falls dangerously low, but will be able to stay alive. Hammer swings coming through. Sleep dart in on a Reinforce. He'll get taken down, but a Kraken's going to be traded out. Chips Titan comes up with the kill. He's burned down. The armor's gone. Costa comes up with another one. 2 for Lucio. Sharp finds CKM, however. Now it's going to be the self-destruct in onto the cart. Not going to be finding any kills. He makes it back into the back end of the hack, comes down. The Victor's going to be swinging away desperately, trying to find something. Sweden just strings in one after the other with these respawns to keep this one in.
Reinforce has a Shatter. He has a Shatter. Here it comes.
Throws it down, locks out a couple members. Swings coming through from the hammer. The fire strike comes out. Trill going to die. Punk's knocked out. And Costa gets taken down as well. Reinforce swings his way through. The OT bar is going to be plummeting, and they managed to hold him off in front of C. But man, Australia, they almost made it happen again. 2
massive impactful Shatters for Reinforce back to back as he steps back into the old shoes of the hero he's most famed for he's able to defend the push here and save that 3rd point from Australia taking it. It's only halfway over for Sweden, though. They've only been able to prevent full completion. They will themselves, of course, have to make it all the way there in order to take this. We're going to take a look at this EMP into Shatter here. Once again, Sharp setting this up. Reinforce just spikes the ball here, basically, and ends up with a massive 3K. Very well played from the big fan favorite here. And let's see what the plan is now on attack, because there were certainly some worrisome moments for Sweden throughout the Streets phase, but after they got their first big EMP and traded ultimates efficiently in that moment, they had advantages for the rest of the way. And it's just something I'm trying to highlight in this series is when I say trading ultimates efficiently, I mean sometimes a team is looking for a big fight and one EMP wastes 3 of their ultimates. You win the fight and you hold more ultimates afterwards. That's the kind of play that you're always looking for, especially as the team that's down on ultimates, because that's how you catch up. That's how you get back into fights. There's obviously tons of mechanical skill where you can win fights without ultimates at all, but ultimates are so powerful they cannot be ignored. And using EMP, for example, as we saw Sweden do there to really turn things around, is how you're going to get back into a game when you're behind like that. On the attack, they've been avoiding the Pharah. I think they're just going to run this Reinhardt Zarya potentially. You would have to think.
Okay, they're flipping around. Maybe it's going to be the Winston again.
Looks like it.
Sharp showing the Widowmaker, so at least they have that ready to go to deal with CKM's Pharah. He's already trying to spot it out. Yeah,
they're just trying to counter CKM. Knowing CKM would expect the Reinhardt, they do the opposite.
At this point, you expect the Reinhardt, because it's been a lot of Winston from Reinforce today. Sharp going to get dove on. Makes his way back over towards the spawn. We'll be able to stay alive. Bubble goes down. Schultz going to rejoin with the rest of his squad over in the courtyard.
And this time, Sweden will not be countered. This time, they have the answer to the Pharah. As you can see, Sharp is just constantly trying to track his movement. This is not going to be another King's Row scenario. Not this time.
They keep jumping onto Sharp, but they're not getting that much damage. And Trill's still sitting at 30% now for that primal range. So now building that one up very swiftly. CKM back up into the sky, getting some rockets down. Boops Manitin back inside. They'll rejoin onto the low ground with the card.
Yeah, every time they leap in and fail, it means the supports are vulnerable for Australia, and that's what Reinforce has been trying to capitalize on, so it's been costing them big, and now Sharp has full line of sight. This is incredible for Sweden in terms of the time bank for this push towards the first choke point, and there's not a great way to use the ultimates that Australia are trying to build in this choke. Even Barrage is not ready yet, and it's very difficult to find an angle in this little archway.
Well, time to push forward. Cart rolls up right in front of the point. CKM already knocked down to half HP. Troll going to be hacked out. He receives that nano boost. Sleep comes down, but he's going to get woken back up. Going to zap away at Chips. Bubble's going to have to come down into the back end. So they trying to finish him off. Pocket out from the Mercy. That's keeping him alive, and now it's going to be EMP to open things up here from Huss. And Manitin will go down. CKM finally on the Rockets. Barrage is going to be dropped in solo. Really seal the deal on that one. He takes a smattering of damage, but it seems like he might just be able to stay alive.
And it all started with just one nano boost from a Kraken onto Trill. Opened everything up. Sharp.
Dangerous game there.
Yeah. Will be pocketed up from Ludi, who's now respawn. Give them a little bit more Valkyrie charge. But now Sweden was going to look to do probably the exact mirrored thing, which is to nano, of course, onto Reinforce and give him the opportunity to trade up because he knows Trill's already used that combo.
Oh no! The Vic gets spotted. Sleep comes down. Everybody going to be wrapping around to the side. And
that's a nice stagger.
Yeah, that's a really great pickoff. No ult charge gain. Still going to be sitting at around 70% now. So delays it even further.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to simply rely, if they want to make this push the big one, on Reinforce. Oh,
they're just getting caught out.
He played greedy, and they punished him. They found him. Australia's not going to just sit back. They're going to be aggressive when they see mistakes they can punish. When they see greed, like we saw in Anubis,
exactly.
They're just running in. And
they are not afraid to push forward.
Reinforce, he hasn't been nanoed yet. They're being really patient because of these staggers, but time is running out.
Down to about a minute now.
Tavik just looking for a backline pick.
Okay, they spotted out everybody. Tavik coming in, shows himself, building up, trying to get that EMP ready to roll. 7 more percent, and Custom's going to be the first one to go down. Kraken as well, going to be dead. No supports available, and Punk's going to be knocked out of the mech. And honestly, Sweden hold the ultimates. No need to use them. The team wipe comes through. They just get that one clean.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure who ate the nano there, but they don't need the Primal Rage committed, and They end up getting this EMP they can hold as well. So this was a very close call for Sweden. They can be very thankful that this was such an efficient fight for them. Again, through mechanical skill in this case. And they end up taking the lead. Australia taking a few risks. The Vic looking for a great opportunity. He's
going to get hacked out, and he's just dead. Stomp coming in from Trill. The backup from Huss. Go ahead and finish him off.
This matchup between Huss and Tavik, or against Sharp, and the occasions he's on it, have not been going well for Sweden.
Zap's coming down. CKM a little bit low. Just trying to build up, play forward, get that Dragon Blade online. Third of the way there. 5 other ultimates here for Australia.
Yeah, Australia is basically holding everything but the blade, and Sweden's being so patient that Australia will also just do the same. Now, Huss is set up for a great EMP here around the backside. I can nullify all these ultimates.
Oh, goes ahead, tosses that one down. Numerous members, and Trill will be falling forward here again. Pushing up. Health pack helps keep Chips alive for a little bit longer. Now it's going to be the Primal Rage coming out as he looks for a target. So far, hasn't really found one. Locks down onto Sharp. Sleep Dart comes in. Somebody woke up the monkey. Oh, no. Not what you wanted to do at all, but seems like it still might be okay. No kills to be found, but some time bought off the bank. Cart still not going to be held here by Sweden yet, but now they're pushing forward.
Yeah, now they're pushing forward here. Punk's hack will just have to go away. Sharp gets a nice opening kill, and this is going to be Sweden's wrapping around this corner, but they've lost so much time.
Oh, Gusta going low. Jump in on a Sharp.
That's actually an incredible view we got there. That's what it feels like to deal with Huss in this series right now. You're just like, oh my god, there he is.
Yeah, it's a series of jump scares.
Yeah.
And just stuff all up in your face.
Well, Huss has built up close to another EMP. He wants that for the contest. This corner here, Australia's not going to feed ult charge over to Sweden. They're not going to look for a contest until they can pair this blade with that EMP, ideally.
Oh. Trying to go for that shot. Would have been damn impressive if Sharp could have pulled that one off. In the meantime, Tavik and Reinforce going to be falling. This could allow for Australia to regain control over the card. You can see Sweden trying to kite their way out, but he almost falls.
Yeah, this should be the EMP built now for Huss. So this is a terrifying moment for Sweden. Blade EMP and the self-destruct to contest B. Sweden doesn't have
Nanoblade EMP.
Yeah, and Sweden doesn't have a way to EMP their way into shutting that down. They don't have a Transcendence. They don't have a Riptire. This blade is going to be so difficult to stop, and they're not even running Brigida, so how they break this through with 50 seconds left, we're going to have to see if they can make it happen. It's not easy to actually pull that off.
Yeah, trying to go up around the back end. Now looking for the hack there on the Reinforcements. He goes pretty deep into the back side. CKM with that Nano Blade comes out, gets rid of Chip Zion. Looking for a little bit more, but has to sheath it. Falls down to about 70 HP.
They didn't use the
will
EMP.
Be staying alive. Right click's getting ready to come through, and like you say, they hold on to that ultimate, which can still turn the tide of a fight. Reinforce trying to rejoin, but he is in no man's land.
Reinforce is dead. Tavik holds an EMP.
15 seconds.
And I don't know how they're going to pull this off. Sweden dropping 4 maps. All 4 maps in the series would be a tragedy for them.
Absolutely.
Only tool they've got is the Nano and the EMP. Here comes Huss trying to shut it down.
Going around the back, the EMP's going to come out. Huss cannot use his own yet. Everyone's grouping up for him as they push over towards the cart. He's just sneaking his way in, but he gets sucked. But he still manages to go ahead and toss that one out as Punk drops in the bomb, and Reinforce is going to be the one to fall right off the start. Meditate knocked out of the mech. Trill going to be res back into the mix as Australia goes ahead and looks to close this one out with a 4-0. Skirting around the fight here is Lodi, but he will get taken down. Huss picks up 2. Right click's coming down. CKM falls dangerously low. Will get eliminated here by Tavik, but it's just a consolation prize. Australia, they managed to hold him off. They get the 4-0, and Sweden suffer another loss.
A 4-0 victory from Australia. They have looked real coordinated this tournament, and it's all about, I think, the threat of Huss. The backline dive, his ability to stay undetected, hack, build consistent EMPs. Sombra can be the cheat code to break through when you're down on ultimates, could be the way to get backline picks and also set up dive. And Australia just plays around him so well. Not only that, but the Pharah that they've been running so significantly much against a team that has, been reluctant to run the counter long-range hit scan. And it's a tragic tournament here for Team Sweden. 2 losses in a row against 2 of the biggest opponents they would, have to face in this round robin.
Yeah.
It's just, it feels bad when you lose to Australia without taking a single map, and the way they lost, especially Anubis and Kings Row, it's going to get into your head a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, now you have to try to shake that off to push forward to get some wins in these remaining series. Again, it was only the second one, so there's still plenty of games to be played by Sweden to get those wins on the board, but they also have to be hoping that the likes of Australia and China suffer some losses, maybe even some upsets coming through. But guys, let's go ahead, throw over to Zoe on the floor because she's got an interview ready with Custa.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, Australia ending the day on a high note, taking that bout against Sweden. I've Costa joining me for a quick word. Now, Sweden seemed to be slow to adapt, if they actually made any switches at all. Very often, players such as CKM and his Farah kind of had a field trip. Is this something you anticipated heading into this series?
I think it's more the way that the group stages are panning out. You have to be able to play every map, so a lot of teams just have a style of playing. You saw us get caught up by that against Denmark. You know, we didn't really know how to adapt and didn't really have a good adaptation to that. So it's just play styles sort of clashing, I think.
So how much preparation actually went into this match against Sweden? You got to watch some of the games yesterday already, I assume. What were your takeaways from those?
Gumba does a lot of the research and does a lot of the background, so we knew that they didn't want to play a lot of Widow if they didn't have to, and they also want to play a lot of Goats. So that really works for us a lot of the time. So fortunately, you know, CKM was doing the work on Farah and we executed really well.
You did indeed. Now, thank you so much for joining me. I'll let you go off and celebrate that victory against Sweden. Thanks a lot for joining. And we're now heading back to our casting duo to break down the action.
Thank you very much. I mean, yeah, got to be feeling very good about that victory. The 4-0, unexpected. Again, we kind of came into this saying this could be another back and forth one, maybe have that fifth map tiebreaker, but Australia said none of that garbage. We're just going to go ahead and close this one out nice and cleanly. But I think still a series to remember.
Costa really hit the nail on the head, you know. They knew that Sweden wasn't going to be running a lot of Widowmaker. They knew that they were going to be running more Goats-oriented styles, or styles that just didn't have long-range hit scan, and they prepared appropriately. And it shows. I mean, in all the matches we've seen Australia play now, the three of them they've played in this group stage, the preparation has been immense. They have prepared counter strategies. The execution is crisp, and I love to see teams come into a group stage like this, not relying on their mechanics, but actually relying on strategic depth and so much preparation. You could just feel it and how they've set up this match against Sweden, as Cussa just said on the stage.
It's been absolutely wonderful. And I mean, talking to Australia coming into this tournament, you know, they said that Trill had really been prepping with that Hammond. But honestly, I think that his Winston is still a bit of a standout. His Hammond is still very good as Wrecking Ball, whichever you prefer. But his Winston just kind of playing Frogger, going from one person to the other, just killing them with the leaps has been absolutely stunning to watch.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at the fan pulse brought to you guys by T-Mobile to see what you guys are saying at home. Only 1 minute in the timing in Australia. Full pushes on Kings Row against Sweden. That run was actually insane.
It very much was. I mean, we weren't anticipating that at all. And then at the same time, Sweden also almost pulled it off. They almost got there in OT themselves with that extra, I think, 26 seconds on top of it. So Kings Row, if you guys tuned in, you know, midway through this series, you definitely want to go back and watch the beginning of it because the whole thing all the way through was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, indeed. So we're going to take a look at our next tweet here from Peter Marsh. Australia's World Cup team have been impressive in the clutch so far. So many close fights that look gone, and they're pulling them back. Yeah, it's really just kind of been digging their talents in and pulling the victory to them. Australia, time and time again, it's like, oh man, they lost this one player. And then suddenly it's like, oh, but now they've killed 3. So I guess that's good. I guess maybe they win this fight now. It's just, you know, tooth and nail throughout the whole way. Sweden as well fighting it very similarly, but unfortunately not able to get the success that was found by the Aussie boys. Oh, when you're half asleep but quietly here chanting Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Well, that's what happened just earlier on stage. It's what's happening, no doubt, in Twitch chat and amongst viewing parties throughout Australia and probably other places in the world. Those people just love to say that no matter where you're from. Just half asleep, just mumbling it to yourself, your SO. It's like sitting on the other side of the room. It's like, what the heck are you doing? But guys, thank you so much for sending in the tweets. If you want to see your tweet up on the screen, go ahead and use the hashtag OWWC2018, and maybe we'll read it out loud and give us our thoughts on your thoughts. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from that series because I'm sure there's plenty of them because this was just absolute insanity all the way through. I know we could just talk about the overarching story because there's going to be a lot of crazy clips in here, but CKM's Farah was never a consistent answer for what Sweden was running, and Ilios is a bad matchup for the comfort picks for Team Sweden. And CKM, again, as you can see here on Well, just able to set up Cussive Mind Kill onto Sharp, who was kind of trying to counter him. Then we moved into King's Row. Sharp had some incredible plays. Can we see? Here we go. Okay. Come on! I mean, he was literally blinded by the light in that moment. But his Widowmaker play alone was not enough because he didn't run it when Australia had the overtime push. Full completion with really about 30 seconds to go on the A capture because they swapped composition, so they were basically starting at ground zero from there. And there was just never an answer from Sweden for CKM's Farah. Again and again and again, you know, we begged Sweden and fans at home, Sweden fans were wondering when are they going to swap to counter this, and they just simply never did. As we see Punk having some great angles with self-destruct.
The shutdown. Vic moving over to the Doomfist was a nice, was a nice thing to see. They really coupled it with a nano boost to ensure that he was going to be staying alive. The shields worked absolutely wonderfully for him. But then it was, on the attack itself, as Punk just gets the triple. The attack itself, when we saw the Reaper come out, that we kind of wanted to see a swap come through. Because it just held it for a bit too long, didn't have as much impact as that Doomfist did on the defense.
Yeah, and we saw some incredible defensive plays from Reinforce when he was on this Rhine here at the very end. As you can see, we're going to see this pin on the CKM.
Great, yeah.
And then we're going to see two probably big shatters here. This is the first one, or actually this is the final one.
Yeah, the swing's coming in, the point-blank fire strike here on Acosta as he just jumps across the side. But, I mean, great moments from both teams. Of course, this was not exactly a one-sided series. I would say it was very far from that, despite the scoreline. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching, the Reddit threads or whatever, Reddit lol in chat, I don't know. But they're going to be watching the threads, and they're going to see that 4-0 scoreline. They're going to be, oh man, Sweden must have gotten clapped. It's like, no, absolutely not. It was so very close. But there's still those improvements that can be made that would have allowed them to pick up some of those map wins, if not take the series. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of tournament left for Sweden. They'll be facing off against Spain in our final matchup. But that's not what we got going up next. We're going to have Denmark versus China.
See that, right? Yeah.
There
it is. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw over to a break. Denmark versus China coming up.